The sun hung low over the forest, its rays filtering through leaves to bathe the earth in soft golden light. Birds chirped melodiously in nearby trees, their song harmonizing with the rustling leaves in the gentle breeze. Disciples gathered under the Bodhi tree, their robes softly swaying as they settled into silence. Buddha sat calmly, his face serene, radiating an aura of profound wisdom and unshakable tranquility. Ananda approached, his steps hesitant, carrying an expression clouded with worry and doubt. His voice quivered as he spoke, each word marked with deep concern. The disciples, sensing his arrival, folded their palms and bowed deeply in respect. Buddha looked at them with eyes that reflected endless understanding and infinite patience. Ananda, tell me, what is it that stirs fear within your heart when you reflect on the nature of death? Ananda lowered his eyes to the ground, uncertainty visible in his body language and strained voice. Blessed One, it is the finality of death that frightens me, as if everything ends when life ceases to exist. The Buddha gestured toward the horizon, where the sun dips slowly, casting long shadows across the landscape. Observe the sunset, Ananda, and tell me whether its fading light fills your heart with fear or wonder. His movements were slow, deliberate, as if the act contained an entire universe of meaning. The disciples watched with unbroken attention, their hearts yearning to understand. The Buddha extended his arm, motioning toward the disciples, who sat enraptured by his words and presence. The sun does not mourn its fading light, nor resist its inevitable rest, for it knows the dawn will follow. He continued, his voice carrying the weight of timeless wisdom and universal truth. Life and death are but two faces of existence, inseparable and intertwined in the great cosmic dance. Others felt a growing discomfort, unable to reconcile the silence with their thirst for wisdom. Only one disciple, Mahakasyapa, sat quietly with a serene smile blooming on his face. Blessed One, if life and death are alike, then why does the human mind cling to life and fear its end? The Buddha smiled gently, his compassion reaching beyond Ananda to every disciple present under the Bodhi tree. Ananda, the root of fear lies in attachment, the mistaken belief that permanence exists and can be grasped by the mortal hand. His voice grew softer, resonating like the soothing melody of a distant stream, full of calm wisdom. The seasons change effortlessly, yet we do not weep for winter nor revel endlessly in summer's warmth. The Buddha picked up a fallen leaf, its edges curled and its surface speckled, evidence of its journey through time. This leaf does not resist its fall, knowing it returns to the soil, where its essence nourishes new life. This lotus, Buddha continued, grows in the mud, yet it blossoms unsoiled, untouched by the impurities below. It teaches us that purity and wisdom come not from avoiding suffering, but from transcending it. The Buddha rose, his movements calm, deliberate, embodying the peace his teachings sought to instill within those who listened. Fear diminishes when one sees clearly that death is not the end, but a continuation of life's eternal rhythm. He walked toward the edge of the forest, the disciples following quietly, eager to understand the lesson unfolding before them. Look upon this forest, thriving with life, its beauty woven with every tree, every creature, every breath of wind. The Buddha paused beside a young sapling, its tender leaves glistening with dew, their translucence glowing under the dimming light. This sapling does not lament the loss of the seed nor fear the day it will grow old and return to earth. He placed his hand upon the trunk of a tall, sturdy tree, its branches swaying gently in the calm breeze. This mighty tree did not resist its growth, nor does it cling to its form, knowing it will one day fall. The disciples stood in silent reflection, the forest's peaceful presence amplifying the Buddha's words as they sank deeply into their hearts. Ananda stepped forward, the tension in his posture easing, his voice filled with newfound understanding. Blessed One, the cycles of nature mirror the cycles of existence. In embracing this truth, one finds solace in impermanence. The Buddha turned to Ananda, his expression kind, his eyes glimmering with a depth that spoke to universal compassion. To fear death is to fear the natural order of existence. To embrace impermanence is to embrace freedom from suffering. He led the disciples back to the Bodhi tree, their hearts lighter, their steps carrying the wisdom imparted by their teacher. The stars began to appear in the sky, their soft glow illuminating the gathering. As night descended upon the forest, the Buddha sat once more under the Bodhi tree, his presence a beacon of peace and understanding to those who followed his path. Ananda, to conquer fear is to let go of illusions. To see clearly the eternal dance of life and death. His voice resonated like the gentle rustle of the leaves, each word weaving threads of wisdom into the fabric of their minds. Meditate on impermanence. Allow it to transform your perspective. To replace fear with acceptance and serenity, Ananda knelt before the Buddha, his expression peaceful, his voice steady, filled with gratitude for the teachings bestowed. Blessed One, your words guide my soul toward freedom, helping me to overcome the shadows of fear that once enveloped me. The disciples bowed in reverence, their hearts brimming with gratitude and clarity, their minds illuminated by the Buddha's truth. A gentle breeze passed through the grove, rustling the leaves and carrying the scent of earth and flowers. The disciples felt a subtle shift within themselves, a loosening of the tight grip they had on their preconceived notions. The cycle of life continued, its rhythm unbroken, its beauty unwavering, its truth eternal. Another day, another journey. The disciples followed the Buddha, their footsteps rustling softly against the forest path, anticipation in their hearts. As the morning light filtered through the trees, a woman approached, her face pale with grief and exhaustion. She knelt before the Buddha, her sobs breaking the stillness, her arms cradling the lifeless form of her child. Blessed One, she cried, her voice filled with desperation, give me the medicine to bring my child back to life. The Buddha gazed at the woman, his eyes full of compassion, his voice calm and steady. Daughter, I shall provide the cure, but first you must bring me a handful of mustard seeds. The woman's face lit with a glimmer of hope, her trembling hands clutching tightly to her child as she listened. However, the Buddha continued, the mustard seeds must come from a household untouched by the sorrow of death. The woman rose, determination replacing despair as she began her search. Visiting every house within the village, she knocked on one door, her voice faltering as she explained her need for mustard seeds to the family inside. The kind faces at the door softened into sadness as they shared their own loss. A father who had passed last winter. The woman thanked them and moved on, hope still flickering as she sought another home. Yet each family revealed their own tales of loss. By the time the sun began its descent, the woman returned to the Buddha, her steps slow, her head bowed, her hands empty. Blessed One, she said softly, her voice steadier now, her tears subsiding, I could not find a single house untouched by death. The Buddha nodded, his expression kind, as he addressed the woman and the disciples gathered around him. Daughter, you see now that death spares no one. Just as the waves of the ocean touch every shore. He gestured toward the horizon, where the last rays of sunlight illuminated the tops of the trees in golden hues. Death is not a punishment nor a misfortune, but a natural truth, the thread that connects all beings. The silence they carried within was not emptiness but a profound fullness, a boundless source of truth and peace. Another day, the sun hung low on the horizon, casting an amber glow over the quiet forest. Buddha walked along the riverbank, his steps as deliberate as a flowing stream carving its path through rock. The disciples followed closely, their hearts seeking wisdom, their minds teeming with unspoken questions. He turned to his disciples, their faces attentive, reflecting the gravity of the lesson unfolding before them. When we cling to the impermanent, we invite suffering, for the nature of life is change and transformation. He gestured toward a nearby tree, its branches swaying gently in the evening breeze, its leaves shimmering in the fading light. Just as the tree does not hold on to its leaves, we too must release our attachments with grace and acceptance. The disciples watched in silence, their hearts moved by the Buddha's words and the woman's transformation in their midst. She knelt again before the Buddha, her voice steady, her eyes reflecting newfound strength. Blessed One, your teachings have lifted the veil of my ignorance. I will carry them with me as I move forward. The Buddha placed his hand gently on her shoulder, his touch a gesture of reassurance and compassion. Daughter, let this moment be the beginning of your journey toward understanding, toward freedom from the chains of sorrow. The woman bowed deeply, her gratitude evident in every movement. As she rose and walked away, her steps lighter than before, the Buddha turned to his disciples, addressing them with the same calm authority that guided their paths. Reflect on this parable, for it holds a truth that will guide you as you encounter sorrow and impermanence in your lives. Ananda stepped forward, his voice hesitant, his question reflecting the unease within his heart. Blessed One, how can we find peace when confronted by the inevitable loss of those we hold dear? The Buddha looked at Ananda, his expression both solemn and kind, his tone carrying the weight of timeless wisdom. Ananda, love and compassion do not require attachment. They flourish when we see others as part of the interconnected whole, he continued, his words weaving a tapestry of understanding for those who listened. Ananda said, the sound of the unstruck staff is not in the ears. It is felt in the stillness within. Buddha nodded, a faint smile gracing his lips. Meditate on this truth, the Buddha instructed, his voice a guiding presence, and you will find the strength to embrace impermanence with open hearts. The forest grew quieter. As the sun set fully, the first stars appearing in the darkening sky, their light steady and unwavering, the disciples sat beneath the Bodhi tree, their breaths deep and even, their minds attuned to the wisdom imparted by their teacher. The Buddha closed his eyes, entering a state of profound meditation, his presence a source of peace and inspiration to those around him. The night enveloped the forest, its stillness broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves and the soft chirping of crickets. The lesson of the mustard seed lingered in the hearts of the disciples, its truth unfolding like the petals of a lotus flower. One disciple asked timidly, Master, how can we hear the sound of the void? What must we do to listen? Buddha's expression softened, his gaze enveloping the disciple like a warm embrace. To hear the void, you must first understand your own noise, he said. They found solace in the interconnectedness of all beings, their spirits bolstered by the wisdom and compassion of their enlightened guide. Another day, another gathering. The disciples followed the Buddha to a serene lotus pond, its surface reflecting the colors of sunrise. The breeze carried the scent of flowers, filling the air with a calming fragrance that softened the morning silence. He gestured to the tree, its roots visible where the soil had eroded, its leaves dancing in the wind. This tree, Buddha said, does not ask the wind why it bends. Holding the lotus in his hand, the Buddha addressed his disciples, his voice steady and filled with wisdom. Look upon this lotus. Though born in mud, it rises above it, unstained, embracing beauty despite its origins. The disciples leaned closer, their expressions reflecting curiosity, their minds attuned to the profound symbolism woven into the Buddha's words. Ananda stepped forward, his voice cautious, his question shaped by the depth of his reflections. Blessed One, is the mud not a hindrance? A weight upon the beauty and purity of the lotus flower? The Buddha turned his serene gaze toward Ananda, his tone compassionate, his answer carrying layers of insight. When you strike the earth with a staff, you create sound, Buddha said. But when you refrain, the silence is not absence. It is presence of potential. The disciples nodded, their understanding deepened by the juxtaposition of sound and silence, action and inaction. One disciple, curious but cautious, asked, "Master, is the void not empty? How can it contain potential if it is nothingness?" Buddha's eyes gleamed with a gentle light, and his voice carried the clarity of a crystal-clear stream. "The void is not nothingness," he said. "It is the source from which all things arise, the space where creation unfolds." Ananda, the lotus rises not by rejecting the mud but by accepting it. Growing upward toward the light and freedom above, his gaze shifted to the disciples, his words expanding to encompass every soul present under his guidance. To transcend fear of death, one must rise above attachments, desires, and illusions. As the lotus transcends the mud, he gestured toward the pond, the still water hosting reflections of sky and trees, a mirror to life's complexities and beauty. Meditate upon the lotus, reflect on its journey, and let its truth blossom within your mind and soul. The disciples closed their eyes, their breaths aligning with the gentle rhythm of nature surrounding them. Their thoughts focused inward. It holds the clouds, the stars, the moon, yet remains untouched by them. The disciples turned their gaze to the sky, their minds quieting, their hearts absorbing the lesson as naturally as the earth absorbs rain. The Buddha spoke once more, his voice gentle yet filled with strength, offering guidance to the wandering thoughts of his disciples. Death is not to be feared. It is but a return to the earth, a rest before the eternal cycle continues. He placed the lotus back into the pond, its petals shimmering as it settled softly, a symbol of beauty and resilience. The sound of the void is heard in the flow of the river, the rustle of leaves, the stillness of the night, he said. It is not separate from you. It is you. Ananda knelt before the Buddha, his voice calm, his words shaped by gratitude and understanding. Blessed One, your teachings have brought light into the darkness of fear. They realized that the sound of the void was not something to be grasped but something to be felt, something that arose naturally when the noise of the mind subsided. And so, they sat by the river, their breaths synchronized with the flow of the water, their beings attuned to the silent symphony of existence. Ananda, let the wisdom of the lotus guide you. Let its lesson bloom within your mind and illuminate your path. The disciples bowed in reverence, their hearts brimming with gratitude, their minds absorbing the depth of the Buddha's teachings. The soundless sound they carried within was not emptiness but a profound fullness, a boundless source of truth and peace. Another day, the air carried a gentle chill, as the grove of sal trees awaited its silent visitor. Buddha walked slowly among the towering trees, his footsteps light, yet filled with the gravity of wisdom. The disciples followed in quiet reverence, their hearts heavy with the knowledge of his nearing departure. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.